Changes per request and the dev branch. So we have placeholder editor form and attribute for applicable fields. So this is a way for fields to be able to have a placeholder attribute, the gray text that is displayed by default in the entries, and a new outcome for the email activity, which is failed, when the email failed to be sent. So now there is a new outcome. Failed, done and failed. Okay, so that's it on the dev branch on Orchard 1. Orchard 2. Need to update. So we have the razorPage branch which has been merged. So now we have razorPages in Orchard.Core. We have, did we have something before? No. The user branch, the users branch also has been merged. Refactoring. Why is this? Oh, because I'm on this machine. Okay. So users module refactoring to use interfaces instead of classes for resolving the services. And yeah, that's just refactoring. Otherwise, this is the big thing. So we remove the event bus, the beloved event bus that was also in Orchard 1 and made again in Orchard 2 using, no, we were not using Castle.Core, we were using dynamic proxies from a core CLR library, but we removed it in favor of abstractions projects that contains the interfaces that you can implement if you want to react to events. So this should be faster. You can't see the difference while we run Orchard, but whatever is using the event bus will be faster.
Well, not only that, but the memory footprint will be a lot smaller.
Probably, and startup and many things. Yeah. And less code, so less bug.
Less code, less bugs, yeah. Definitely memory though. Definitely a lot smaller on memory.
Okay, if you say so. So Alexander is fighting with Travis on macOS, which doesn't want to work for some reasons, for some unknown reasons. We don't know why Travis is failing, but it's failing. Whatever he's doing, it's failing. I might have to try on a Mac at some point just to see if it's Travis or if it's Max. Nick was talking about GraphQL, and he's also working on jsonapi. We also merged the PO files and pluralization support. This I could demo. So let's see what I could demo. Pluralization. We also have, I can demo what others have done. razorPages. This is trying to make it work. Enabling tag helpers in LiquidPart. There were some bugs. I fixed fixes from bug reports, fixes, razorPages, fixes, refactoring. So cleaning everything, fixes, fun log. Yeah, little things. And right now it's not pushed. It's on my other machine. I'm trying to I'm trying to finish all the tasks to be able to release beta. So the goal right now, the current tasks are releasing beta, which means what do we have?
Rename from, yeah.
So we have right now Orchard modules, and we want to rename it to Nick. I found another
module management.
Well, but this morning I found a I think a better one. Features. Yeah, it's good. It's not like module management. It's too long. Features. It's good. It's
Okay.
actually what we do. We don't manage modules. We manage features.
Okay, fine.
Enable, disable. Yeah. That sounds better. It was easy. Renaming Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.Modules.
So is this what Fowler was talking about on Twitter?
When was he talking? Was he talking about anything?
He was complaining about Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.
No, I don't think so. Maybe
Okay.
there are many others, but this one I booked because to prevent. Well, actually, someone else had taken it because we were using this package name, and somebody published it on NuGet, so we had to contact NuGet to get it back.
Oh right. Okay. Cool.
And I reserved it to prevent anyone from pushing our packages to NuGet and taking it back. So, but now we will. Yeah, so maybe it was part of that, but we are not using it. So there is no confusion possible because there is no package on that. It's just we are just sitting on the name. So Orchard.Core .modules -star. Okay, and this is why we rename these modules to something else. So there is no conflict, and I'm currently doing that. That's going on. Renaming all Orchard.star to Orchard.Core, Orchard.Core.star, namespaces and usings and projects and things, and version to 1.0.0-beta-1 something. Okay, so beta 1 build number, and today we have Orchard.star with 2.0 version, and we are moving to Orchard.Core with 1.0 version. Okay, so these packages should all also be reserved. We did that when we fixed like 6 months ago when we had issues with other NuGet packages. Nick. Yep, but life. And that, and also trying to move everything on NuGet. So right now we have dependencies which are only on migrate, on our migrate or others migrate, and I'm trying to have everything and everyone go on NuGet. So we are using now Lucene and Irony from NuGet, but the blocking ones are image sharp, which should be on NuGet very, very soon, and OpenID Connect, which won't be on NuGet very, very soon.
I think that is on NuGet now, isn't it?
Not the 2.0 branch, just the 1.0. And we are using yes, I had a talk with him this morning, so that's and it won't be before 2 weeks, let's say.
Really?
So what we can do is
not release the OpenID stuff.
Well, we not publish it.
Darn.
So remove it from the SAS recipe. We can still have it in the. It will be there in the source and everywhere, but if you compile from the source, it will use the NuGet config. If you try to use the NuGet package, the Orchard CMS NuGet package, then it won't link OpenID.
How come it's delayed?
What? Sorry?
Is it delayed or something?
No, it's just that he wants to finish some features before publishing to NuGet.
Oh.
And also breaking changes that we'll have to react to. Yeah. The third solution is to pay him so that he can just work on that, and then it will be done sooner.
Was it not the Microsoft.Owen Security OpenID Connect stuff?
No. It's just OpenID Connect under the ASP.NET Contrib account.
Okay.
So we point on. You see there is 101, but if you go on migrate, there is a 200.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Why is it called Owin? That's weird.
Yeah.
This one. No, it's more this one. C11, and if you go on migrate, you'll find it.
Sucks to release without OpenID.
Yep, that's the status. So working on that.
We need to prune our NuGet.config file too.
Already done. Yeah, that's I pushed this morning that with. But for Lucene and Irony because they are NuGet, so I'm removed that. But I can't remove anything else until image sharp and OpenID Connect are on NuGet.org.
Did you push that to the? Okay, I see it's on the dev branch. Fine. Cool. Well, it's much better.
And that's it. So no more new features, just fixing the bugs that we find, some documentation. We want to write articles / blog posts about the features, and then that's the plan. Now this should be all done today. And then we'll wait probably for image sharp. They already created a different repository, so they have a package ready, and wait for them to release on NuGet. Worst case, we can also release on migrate and then release on NuGet later, or release some things on migrate and some things on NuGet. I don't know. So yeah, we can still migrate only. That's a solution. Everything is on NuGet. But yeah, that's bad. If it's just OpenID and we have image sharp, I will say let's go and don't link to OpenID feature by default in recipes for now, and that will be fine. In the recipes and in the bundle, in the CMS bundle.
Yeah.
And then release it with the beta too, and done. Like many things else. So that will work.
I assume beta 2 will probably include the new Bootstrap stuff, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Sure. Cool.
That, hopefully some APIs, things like this. Yeah, so it can be quick. We can, if it comes very soon, we can release a beta tool. We have so many bugs to fix and new features that, yeah.
We'll probably get a lot more bugs once we release beta. So.
Sure, yeah. Useful and non-useful.
Yep.
Oh, you don't have that. Yes, we know. Okay. Where is taxonomy?
Well,
yes,
we were already getting that, so.
Yep, that's fine. Okay. So that's it. So 2 new things since last week, and it's documented. So and it's on master. So hopefully Orchard.Core .read the docs.io. Ooh, Orchard. Latest. So Antoine will tell me if it's already there. But or do you have to run a script, Antoine, to get it there? Or maybe it's not in the doc, so it won't appear.
Yes, we need to add the missing .md files on mkdocs.
Okay, so I will just open the file. I
And
will
then
just
once
open it on.
regenerate. What are you looking for? Which one?
Pluralization. I will just open it this way. SRC, core modules, localization. Where is localization? Oh no, because again, this taskbar doesn't show up from the correct machine. I want taskbar from the other machine. Here. So.
Have you spoken to the image sharp guys? Are you sure they're going to put a?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they even updated me this morning about the fact that they created the repository as they told me, and they are just waiting for ImageSharp to be shipped in beta to push a new package. So they are working on that actively. SRC, modules, localization, and there is documentation here, and I don't need to. Do I mark down? Open preview. Beautiful. So PO files. So this module. What's that? So this module is backed by two packages which are in Orchard.Core, Orchard.Localization and Localization abstractions, Localization core and Localization abstractions, which are independent from the CMS, okay, or the Orchard modules. So they're just simple libraries which will provide services to extend the localization interfaces from ASP.NET Core, not even MVC. Maybe MVC also, yeah. So what they provide is two things. First, a PO files implementation to provide localized strings for the iString localizer and iView localizer interfaces of ASP.NET Core. Okay, first thing. And second, it provides extension methods to support plural forms of any language when you want to translate, because the current implementation is in ASP.NET Core doesn't support pluralization. You can just pass one string and get another. They didn't want to do anything before being able to do something correctly, so there is nothing right now. And as a reminder, in Orchard 1 we support localization, but we support it in a very limited way because it only supports a single form of pluralization. A form of pluralization is the way you pluralize things, and there are many ways to pluralize things based on every language. So for instance, in English, the one that we support in Orchard 1, the form is defined as if the count is 0 or more than 1, then it's the form 1. Otherwise, it's the form, it's a form 2, otherwise it's a form 1. So there are two forms, which we call singular and plural in English, like one book and two books or 0 books. Okay, so when we write something, example here. So in Orchard 1, we write it this way: t.plural. I think that's it in Orchard 1, right? T.plural, the count, the first form, and the second form. Okay, and we can reuse the count in parameters here. What it does is it will look for, first it will look at the count. If the count is 0 or more than 1, it will take this form. Otherwise, it will take this one. So if it takes this one, it will look for a translation for this string. And the translation for this string will be used to render the content. Otherwise, it will use the translation for this string and so on. If it can't find any translation for this string, it's using this string, one book. So the idea is that because Orchard 1 is written in English first, we have only one form in the plural method to support the English language. So when we write that and we don't provide any translation of anything, we are sure that our UI will contain this string or this string, and we don't have to provide any translation. The value is there, okay? But we can also provide, for instance, a Spanish version, like un libro, and same thing in plural, and it will work also. Because we will provide a PO file like this in Orchard.1 that will contain the translation for the singular and the plural. Okay, here it's French and it's in square brackets, but that's the same thing. So that's what we do in Orchard.1. The only issue is that it works with English, Spanish, French, and lots of languages like this, but it doesn't work in Polish or in Russian or in Chinese or in lots of other ones, because they don't have two forms of plurals and singular. They might have only one. They might, like, whatever the number, there is only one version. Or they might have 4 versions, or 3 versions, or 7 versions. Or maybe some of them have 4 versions, but based on number, it will select different versions. So when we call that in Orchard.1, it doesn't work with all the languages. So I don't know how devs do, but it doesn't work. So they have to find other ways to do that. So this version supports all the other ways of calling plural. So what we ship by default in this package is an extension method that takes 2 arguments, but anyone can provide their own number of arguments to target their main language. So our development is based on English first, so we provide this one as an extension method. But if you want to create your app and your views using the modules and be based on Russian, you can create your own extension method and call as many parameters as you have by default, and then your default language will be Russian, which means you won't need a PO file to provide all the variations, all the forms for the strings to translate. So you can have something like that, another string, another string, another string, and so on. Okay. And then based on the number and based on the Russian logic, it will take the correct one. That's the idea. Also, so to be able to do that, I didn't document it, but there is a way to code the logic of all the forms. Let me show you where it is. It's very interesting. Localization here. Orchard.Localization core, and there is default plural rule provider. So this is a default implementation for iPlural rule provider, and the idea is that it's a static dictionary based on the culture string and the logic. So if I look for English, you see all these languages here, EU, ET, Spanish, Argentinian, all these ones. If I look at the end of the line, it's a lambda which says n being the count. If n is not 1, then the result of the form is the form number 1. Otherwise, it's number 0. Meaning, if your count is 1, which is a singular, use the form number 0. Otherwise, use the form number 1. So there are 2 forms, form 0, form 1. This is why in the PO file, you will do something like form 0, form 1. Okay? That's how it works. And for Russian, you will see, if I look for here we have, if it's a modulo of 10, then it's and not a modulo of 100. Oh no, not a, no. Or the modulo of 100 is not 11, okay? Then it's form 0. Otherwise, blah, blah, blah. So there are so many rules, like, and then you see we have 1, 2, maybe 3. I see 3 here. So maybe 3 forms here. But yeah, you've got all these different rules based on each language to detect which form to use for the plural. Yep, and it's extensible, so you can define or overwrite any form here. And based on this logic and the current culture, it will look for form 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and then pick up the correct entry in your PO file. Okay, that's the idea.
Hey, I'm a little confused by the extension method thing that you talked about earlier. It looks like based on this, you have all the right rules already in there for all languages.
Yes.
Why would you need an extension method here?
It's just
to write the original if your default language is not English?
Yes, if your default language is not English. Because that's what I said. Our default language is English. So we want, for us, without any PO file, to be able to write in our language all the forms. If your language, your default language is something else, you can create your own extension method.
I see. That makes sense. But in usual cases, what you would have to do is have more forms in your PO file. You don't have to modify the view.
Yes, we will never have to modify the view now, but we in Orchard CMS use this one because we use English by default.
Yeah. Okay.
And in your PO file, you will have more forms. So like the 7 forms, and it will pick up the correct one. Even if we just use 2 here, it will use these ones just because we are English. This is the default one. Okay. But yeah. And if you don't want to use an extension method, actually this extension method is actually calling something like T with instead of with a string like the key, like hello, because there is only one key or always a key necessary, and then the argument will be a new plural argument with something like count equals 10 and the actual arguments like arguments equals something like this. Like foo and stuff. Okay, because if your string here is using, so 0 would be the count and then 1 would be based on the other arguments. Okay, so the extension method is just passing a custom argument to the call of T so that the actual implementation knows it's a plural call. And what we do here, and here forms equals something like that. So the extension method will convert that list here to the list of forms that are passed by default. So that's it. Yes, and this is completely independent from Orchard CMS or the modules packages. So this can be used in any MVC app. Okay, I think we'll have to make an article to show that, a blog post or something, because it will be very useful for anyone doing some MVC code who wants pluralization like this, and or support for PO files, which is usually linked because people will go to PO files because it supports pluralization, so they want PO files and pluralization. That's it. Did I miss any question? Because it was blinking.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Okay. So that's it. I won't demo it. Also, what is interesting here is that the default, there is the notion of iLocalization file location provider, this one. The default implementation in the default packages will look for a subfolder of your web app like localizations, and then a PO file named en.po, ru.po, and so on. It also supports culture fallback, culture parents, like if you have a file en and your culture is en-us, then it will fall back to en automatically to the yen file. So it supports that. So this is the default behavior for a standard MVC app, but it's overridable. So what the Orchard module does is that it will register a custom PO file location provider, which will look for PO files like in Orchard 1, in all the modules folders, in the app data for each tenant, and also globally. Okay, so each module can come with custom PO files. This is how we organize the files in the Crowdin website, and you can also override them globally in per tenant or globally in the application. And this is documented here. That it will look for each module and theme, all file matching, module location, app data, localization, culture name, Orchard PO, and then at the app level per culture, and then for each tenant. Okay, so that's the idea. So it's extensible too, and we provide the default for Orchard CMS. That's it, a link to author PO files with also pluralization. Some example in a view how to use that. In a view and also in code, how to write the context keys, like same thing as in Orchard 1. So the name of the class or the name of the view. Example, the admin, module, views folder, layout view.
So there's nothing you need to register. You don't need to do like add localization services.
No, it's done by this module. The module does it.
Localization.
The module does it. So you enable the feature and that's it.
Oh, so it only works if you use the modular architecture stuff then?
No. No. If you use the NuGet packages, you will do .add portable object localization.
Right. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, cool.
If you use Orchard CMS, you just enable the feature, and it will be done by. Okay. That's.
Set supported cultures.
Yeah. So this is,
got a...
Yes, this is because we don't have it in the admin right now, so we need to add cultures in the admin to be able to add them here. Like in Orchard 1, okay? But we still release the module, so we can write views right now, and it will be integrated in the admin later.
Do we need to call base.configure on that? On line 21?
Why would we? No, this is, oh, I see, because we inherit from, no, starter base is just an abstract class.
So we don't need line 21 on there?
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, sorry. No, we don't need that. I don't know what it is here. Maybe Lucas. So most of the work here has been done by Lucas Bart. Wanted to help on Orchard and wanted to do the localization because he will use it because he's a Czech. And we finished it because apparently he's busy with other work and it was almost done. So we finished it and merged it. Now it's done. So that's it for localization. So this is done. So let's see .NET and run it. For razorPages. And I will need to open this window, otherwise it won't work. And I need to access my toolbar here. Okay. I will use the blog, SQLite. Not sure it will work. Might have to restart something.
Simple commerce.
Okay, and razorPages. So the demo module is not enabled. Let's see. If I go to VS Code, not this one, I need to go here. Like this. So Jean-Thierry made the feature, and it's there in the demo module. Where is the demo module? These are not the modules. Here are the modules, demo module. If you go to views, no, not views, pages, sorry, that's the goal. So you don't go to views, you go to pages, and there you place your CSHTML files, which have the page, what's the name of this thing?
Directive.
Declaration.
Thank you. No, the directive is good. Model optional, and then you can have some Razor code here directly. That's not a good sign. And then, can I close it? Close. Can I quit that? Quit. Okay. And then you have your Razor content. You can have custom methods. You can also define a custom handler, a class that will handle all your methods like get and so on, and sorry, a model, and also handle your method get, post, and so on. So this is a full Razor page, and just by creating it, it will be available with the /hello. Well, /name of the module /hello, but also you can go in the startup and define a custom route for your page. Example here, add page route, and you say that this page will be accessible with this route.
Cool.
Okay, and that works, and that's themed and everything. So I'm not sure if I enable the demo module, it will work, because the demo module also defines a home page. Okay, still works, and I do /hello. This is a Razor page coming from Orchard demo, you see.
Very cool.
So it works. Rendering shapes and everything. That should be fast. Here there is no content, should be super fast. So the idea being that you can write, create pages, as in it can be routed, accessed directly from the URL, without having to create or to update a module. So here in this case, it will be /pages, like if you just create one Orchard demo /pages /hello. Okay. Oh, it doesn't work if I orchard.demo. Doesn't work like this. Maybe because it has been redefined. Interesting. Well, hello works. Yeah, you can define your own custom pages with Razor code and reuse all the services from Orchard. So you can inject anything if you want. A typical example would be that you want to create a custom page with custom logic, and you want to reuse like some queries, some content, widgets which are available in your site, but you don't want to go through creating a specific content type or specific queries and projections, and it might be cumbersome for you, or you just want to have it on a file system and not in database. So you can create that, or a simple about page which is static, or a form to send something without creating a module or updating a module. That's the idea, to do things more quickly, more straightforward if you are a dev. You can also still use the liquid page, which I will rename template page. Okay, and type it's like a Razor page but using liquid, so there are less features, less possibilities, and from the admin. But that's almost the same thing. That's it for the new things. Context, if I understand what you mean, like localization context, then no, you have to use a different key. Do not have founds 1 and do not have founds 2. Questions? Roadmap, something. I have a question to myself. Roadmap. I updated the roadmap with updated dates. So beta, September 2017. And this one for sure we will reach. I also updated everything we did for the beta because it was just 3 bullet points, but actually we did much more. So we did that, which was already so projections, layers, flows, widgets, media library and media processing. We did the liquid templating, which was not planned. We did the queries, Lucene and SQL query support. We support razorPages. We migrated to .NET Standard. We have now the view localization and a new theme, the agency theme. That's what we will ship now. Beta 2. November 2017 taxonomies. I thought I had put, sorry Antoine, I thought I put Bootstrap, but we will have Bootstrap right after we ship beta 1. Bootstrap 4 beta, so in terms of modules, taxonomies, very important. Email, very important. Localization, very important. And workflows and output caching, not as important. And RC, January 2018, which is not that long from now. So instead of putting December, because it will be like that and that in December, there is nothing that I plan for the RC, but there will be things appearing like feature requests, bug fixes. So I expect to have an RC with all these features and maybe no more. Optionally, that. But I don't think we will block an RC or 1.0 if we don't have dynamic forms, jobs queue, Azure services, or the message bus. Okay, we can do it later, or if anyone does that, that's fine. But in terms of planning, we can totally do that until November. The only migration there is right now is that you will be able to export an XML file. Someone will have to create a tool to convert it to a JSON file, which is a new import thing, and to import it. And themes will probably be 90% similar because they are still razorPages. We are still using shapes. This is the same. They are using the same alternates. Mostly. There are some differences though, but this is almost the same thing. But in terms of content, there are completely new concepts like lists are different. We have
wasn't Antoine doing an export module maybe, or something along those lines? Antoine, weren't you doing an export something or other from Orchard 1?
Yeah, I did some kind of export module to export the blogs
Okay.
to have a recipe in JSON from the blog.
So how long one.txt will be supported? Actually, it has never been supported. Well, as long as people write code for it, and there are big companies still using one.txt, so the ones who are mostly providing features and bug fixes. Look at what Laser is doing. They have to stay on one.txt. There is One Stop using it. There is Passion.info, which is still using one.txt. So the biggest customers we have, they are still on one.txt, and they don't plan on moving to Orchard.Core anytime soon. So that's it. And actual commercial support is still done by all the same companies that do that. I don't know what we can import. We can import. Yeah, there are some solutions to import some contents like pages and things like this. But like a layout, it will be hard to import because there is no such concept.
We don't have an import-export module.
Nick, yes, we do.
Do we?
Oh my god. Let me show you. Looks like you've never seen that. It's been there for a year. Something like this.
No, it is there. I forgot all about it.
It's better than import export.
Oh, I remember. I do remember.
It's a deployment plan, and
Yeah.
and even more, I'm trying to do my best to maintain the deployment steps so that we can export anything. Let me show you. So deployment plan. I will create a new deployment plan. I will call it backup. Okay. Create. And then on this backup deployment plan, I will add steps. The first step will be to backup all the content definitions. Okay, great. And the second step will be to backup all the content items. Great. Okay. And you could add custom files, specific content types, but I don't want. Okay, and you can add your own deployment plan steps. So these are my 2 steps to my deployment plan. And from that, I can execute the plan to a specified target. The first target which is available is a file download. So if I execute this plan to a file download, it will run this and create a file which contains a recipe and all the static assets that modules can also export. Okay, and this recipe will be all my content types and all my content items, which I can reuse to import. Okay, so this is why I call it a backup. And the nice thing with that, it's called a deployment plan because what you can do initially is deploy to anything. Like there is another feature called remote deployment where you can define remote clients. Like if you're a production machine, or okay, if I'm a staging machine or a dev machine, I will create a remote instance, and I will say the remote instance is named like production. Okay, this is a URL, this is the client name and API key. Okay, and then on my production machine, I will create a remote client, and I will allow remote client by saying this is the client name and the API key I'm opening. So you will then copy paste the secrets, and then when you create a remote instance, let me create one, add remote instance, foo HTTP like this, client name dev, client secret. I will create a remote instance, and now when I go to deployment plans, I can execute this backup and select this instance. So instead of downloading the file, I can send the steps I've defined, which is a backup, to the distant machine. So I will actually deploy my content and my definitions, the one I want, onto this machine.
Can I deploy a single piece of content to that?
Well, we don't have a deployment plan for that a deployment step for that right now. But yes, totally. What you should do is a feature that will be a part, and we talked about it also, and Bertrand has done that. That will be a part that you will be able to mark content items for a specific deployment plan or a specific bucket, and then you can, or let's say with a taxonomy or with anything, so that the plan will just gather the content items based on your own logic, like a query, like anything. Okay, and then import only this content in the plan. So this is this all content deployment step. There is another one called content type, where you can just say I want just my blog post, but you can imagine others that are based on a part, based on some custom constraint, based on time, based on owner.
I was thinking on the, if you went to a blog post, for example, and you know where you hit publish.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of when you hit publish,
exactly,
you hit deploy, and that deploys out to wherever.
So you could define a deployment bucket, and then from your content items, you can say add to this bucket or to this plan or whatever. We could do that.
Okay.
You could have a plan which is a named plan, like all tagged items for this plan, and then from your content items, select which plan it will be assigned to. And you could also have something which is a delta, like weekly deployment, like everything which has been changed for the last week. could do that.
Cool.
So that's why it was completely extensible to be able to do whatever you want. We provide the obvious ones. Right now it's missing a lot of obvious ones, but the infrastructure is there. And the nice thing is that an export is just a target for your deployment plan. It's a file. Okay. But if it's a server, it's the same thing. It can be a Git repository, it can be an FTP, so that you regularly send recipes on an FTP, and the production machine will pick them up regularly on the same FTP for security reasons. So there is no endpoint. There is no endpoint you have to open on your production machine. The production machine will pick up the things from its known location. Okay, there is nothing to open on your. So that's the idea.
Yeah, it's nice.
You can use Git, maybe, whatever. Good. So yes, we can import export. Okay, and that's it. If there is no more questions. Sipke, when do you build a website with Orchard.Core? Your blog? Something?
Yeah, I have some ideas, so hopefully soon.
Right.
I'm waiting for Sipka's second commit.
I know.
It would be
Will
great.
it be next harvest? Your first commit was was last harvest, so I assume your second commit will be the next one, right?
Yeah, definitely. When the next harvest comes, I will be sure to commit some more code. But hopefully before then.
Good. Good. Okay, thanks everyone.